Hi, I'm Paul. This is Science That Sticks. Welcome to video number 2 of my 5 revision steps to success. I was going to call it the baby steps, but then I decided against that because it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't sound right. Anyway, my second point, a change is as good as a rest, comes from some advice that my dad gave me. My dad, when I was much younger, gave me this advice that if you change what you're doing and often, then one of the things that you will benefit from is you won't get bored, you won't get hacked off with it, you will want to keep doing it because, like having a rest, you just come back to it and you keep going and you can eventually start to see the end in sight. If you do something different, then when you come back to the original task, then you come back with fresh eyes and more energy for it. So a change is as good as a rest for revision. 25 to 35 minutes, give yourself a rest, then do something different. Now, changing subjects is crucial for GCSE students simply because you've got too many of them, and if you don't keep up the basic work from day to day, then you start losing ground when you start focusing on one particular subject to revise. And there's nothing wrong with that kind of focus, but everything else gets excluded, which means you've got a bigger job to do when you come to study and revise for those subjects. Anyway, so let's have a look at what else a change is as good as a rest brings to your revision game and your exam success. Well, the first thing that it brings to it is focus and drive. Because you have told yourself what you are going to do, when you're going to do it, you are focused to finish everything that is on your list. You are driven to make sure that by the time you have finished that deadline between 25 and 35 minutes, so much of that list will be complete and so much of it will be finished and you can move on. You can also know at the back of your mind that if you've got a few things left over, the next time it comes around, those are the things that are your priority. So it gives you focus, it gives you drive. Not only that, but as you're telling yourself what you are going to revise and when you are going to revise, it helps you with mental stamina, because one of the things that you're going to be doing, especially if you're a year 10 student listening, this time next year, you will be sitting your examinations. There's no way the UK government is going to allow students to leave school based on teacher assessed grades for a third year in the row, not unless something catastrophic happens. So you folks, like your year 13 predecessors, when they were in your position, they had to sit exams. Sometimes there would be 2 GCSEs in the same day. So you need to be reactive, and not reactive, you need to be organised, and you need to preempt what you are going to do so that when you get to that situation of one exam after another, you are in good habits. So mental stamina is what leads it to this. Now, the other part of telling yourself what to do in terms of your revision is also telling yourself what to do for recreation time. Now, it could be playing the guitar. As it happens, I play guitar. This is one of my guitars. This one was custom built by my father-in-law. It's a wonderful little machine, and it's a bit of steampunk in style, but the great thing about it is, like any of my 4 or 5 guitars, and now I'm not flexing, I just happen to have 4 or 5 guitars, and I could pick up any one of them and just play for a little bit, and then sometimes I put it down and then I do a bit more work, and that really gives me a little bit more of a breath of fresh air. So it helps again with developing mental stamina. And not only that, but if you're learning an instrument like the guitar, or you're learning to do something, I don't know, like sew or knit or do some magic tricks or whatever. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. It could even be reading. So the moment you start putting aside 5 to 10 minutes of reading every 25 to 35 minutes, you start getting better at that, because 5 to 10 minutes every day is a whole lot better than 0 minutes a day. So you get mental stamina, you get long-term gains, both in your revision timetable, your revision habits. You start to really gain momentum with it, and that's a crucial thing. Momentum, being able to sit down and do this. When you say, I'm going to do some revision now, you sit down and you do this with the intention of being successful, writing things off your list and getting into the zone, as they call it. The last part of this is when you are changing from one task to another, from work to play, you help with your work-life balance, and that is really, really, really important, not just as a student but also as an adult. You have to have good productive downtime. I recommend to every student that I've ever taught, certainly the last 15 years, make sure that you have hobbies that are nothing to do with school, nothing to do with your qualifications, nothing to do with your examinations. They are completely divorced and separate entities, because that will help you combat anxiety, combat depression, especially if you're doing some sort of sport, because nothing works better to combat those two negative aspects of life in the 21st century than working up a sweat and getting some exercise. And I really recommend getting out for a walk, leaving your phone at home if you can, getting on a bike, just getting out, breath of fresh air, proper fresh air, working up a sweat, coming back, and then getting back on with whatever revision that you have organised. So a change is as good as a rest. Get that work-life balance, get them long-term gains, make sure that you've got your focus and your drive, and make sure you develop your mental stamina. Till next time, stay cool. Goodbye, everyone.